Today I am starting my pregnancy series and I'm starting with 12 weeks. 12 weeks. You're already like, what, a quarter of the way through? So you should be starting to feel a bit better. You're a third of the way through. You should be starting to feel a bit better now after all the morning sickness and everything else that comes with the first 12 weeks. But there's so much to look forward to after this now. The first 12 weeks seems like it drags. It really does drag. But as you're entering the second trimester now, things will start to feel a lot quicker, especially if it's not your first child. You probably have your dating scan around now. I'll show you a couple of mine. Obviously we're on baby number 3 now, so my first scan was Leo. I've blown these up a little bit bigger so that you can see them apart from the most recent, but this one was taken at, I think Leo's was 13 weeks. This is Leo. That's my dating scan with Leo. There he is, sucking his thumb. And here's Mylo. Mylo was around the same time. I think Mylo was 13 weeks as well. Here's Mylo at 13 weeks. At our dating scan. Look at that. Look how clear it is. Lovely, isn't it? And these are our most recent pictures. These are where we were dead on 12 weeks with this. I actually got moved back 4 weeks on my dating scan. So it was a pretty big jump. We went from the 21st of October as a due date to the 22nd of November. So it was a really big jump. Here's our most recent. Baby's development at 12 weeks, they're already starting with the reflexes. So baby's fingers will begin to open, close, they'll start to curl the toes, the mouth will start making suckling movements, which you might have seen in your scan. I know I did. They were all sucking away in the womb. Around 12 weeks, the baby's eyes actually move from the side of the head all the way around to the front, and you'll be able to see them. You probably can see the eye sockets in some scan pictures. I know that I can see it in Mylo's. I can see the eye socket, but I can't see it in my most recent. My most recent's got a little pot belly. Little pot belly on there. The baby is now about 2 inches long. You might begin to get a bump now if you've not already. I actually couldn't hide mine. Second and third time round I couldn't hide it. People already knew. People just noticed, and they were obviously upfront enough to ask, which you don't find often, that, are you pregnant? And first it takes a bit of a shock to your system, because this is probably the first time anyone's asked you and you're not even that far along. It was quite a big shock to me because I was only about 7 weeks. So my stomach really bloated at this point. So I didn't fit into any of my pants. I had to use little hair bobbles to tie onto the button and through the hole on the other side so that I could get the extra couple of inches on my pants. The baby is about the size, so we already mentioned that the baby's about 6 centimetres, which is about 2 inches long. So they're about the size of an egg or a lime. So they're not huge, but they're there. They're very much there. So like I said, you might be getting a bump now, which is very exciting, especially if it's your first baby and you start getting your bump. It's all exciting, isn't it? I mean, I'm excited every single time, but you don't get as much time to appreciate it in your subsequent pregnancies, which is it just goes by really fast. But with your bump growing as well, your boobs will also start growing a lot. And if it's your first baby, you might be a bit like, oh my god, what is happening? But it's fine. You might need some bigger bras, but they do say go for non-underwire, just because it's a bit restricting underneath. I'll show you some pictures of me at 12 weeks. I'll just roll them now. This is me at 12 weeks with my different pregnancies, and you can see the difference. So let's have a look. Could you tell the difference? So now is the time to start making your baby budget, because we all know that babies cost a fortune. They shouldn't really, and if you play your cards right and you do it properly, then it shouldn't cost you a lot. It's only really when it's your first baby, because you've not got anything. You've not got anything at all at home, so that's when it's going to break the bank the most. So my recommendation is to get things secondhand. We got a lot of things secondhand, and they were in perfectly good condition. It looked like they'd just come out of the shop, because you barely use some of these things. We got this high chair because I love the style of it, and it was just lovely, and I picked it up secondhand and I got a good deal, so I was happy with it. But it didn't work. It didn't work at all, because the bottom is circular and then it's got gaps in between. All the food used to fall in the middle, and it used to be dead hard to sweep under the high chair, and then it had loads of little crevices underneath the tray where, when they've got food all over the hands, because we do baby-led weaning, when they've got the food all over the hands, they put them underneath the tray, and then they kind of wipe it underneath the tray, so it's really hard to clean. It wasn't till I had my second, it wasn't till I had Mylo, that I realised I didn't need expensive stuff. I just needed stuff that worked. So we invested in, I say invested, it was hardly anything. It cost me about £8, and we got a second-hand IKEA high chair off one of my for sale or swap pages on Facebook. And it's perfect. It's so easy to clean. I could sweep underneath it, no problems. It takes me like 2 minutes after tea, breakfast and lunch. So what I'm trying to say is, when you're doing your budget, you don't need the most expensive things, or the things that look the best as well. But there is one exception to that. We bought the Mamaroo, which is this, if you don't know what it is, and we love it. We kept it for all our children. We've still got it now. We're going to get it back out the box in November, ready for baby. So when you have your midwife appointments at the beginning, they'll ask you if you want the nuchal translucency screening. This screening is to measure the thickness of fluid at the back of baby's neck, and it can be an early sign of Down syndrome, although I don't find it very accurate. I don't think it's a very accurate test. Personally, that's just me. Personally, I don't feel it's very accurate. So I declined it on all of mine, because it doesn't make a difference to me. It doesn't make a difference to me personally. They're still going to be my babies, and I don't see Down syndrome as a life debilitating. You can still have a good, very good quality of life whilst living with Down syndrome. So that is not something that I really needed to know. So I declined it all 3 times. it just wasn't for me. It wasn't for me, and it didn't interest me. I didn't want to know, and I just don't, because I don't think that it's reliable test. It's just like when they measure your bump with a tape measure at your midwife appointments. Once you reach a certain point in your pregnancy, they start measuring your bump when you're laid down. So from the top of your uterus down to the bottom, down to your pubic bone, they actually measure it with a little tape measure. So they say that for every week of pregnancy is an extra centimetre. So for every week of pregnancy, you measure 1 centimetre on the tape measure. So when you get to 30 weeks, they expect you to measure 30 on your bump. But I don't think that's very accurate either. How do you determine if your bump is the right size if the baby is the right size through measuring your bump? A lot of people have a lot of fluid, so it's not very accurate at all. I knew that Mylo was small for a long time, and I alerted the midwives to it plenty of times at every appointment from about 28 weeks, I think, and just told them my concerns that I didn't think he was growing. But they didn't, because he was measuring okay on the tape measure, they just assumed that he was the right size. But then when he didn't grow from 32 weeks, that's when they sent me in for an additional growth scan. They didn't find anything. They thought everything was normal. He was just in a weird position, that's what they said. But when I later gave birth to Mylo, they actually found out that he had a true knot in his cord. I'll do another video about true knots, but that's why he wasn't growing. And if it had gone any tighter, then he actually would have lost it would have lost oxygen from the cord, and that would have been it. So that, I think as a mother, you know if something's wrong. So if you don't feel quite right, then it's always best to just get checked out. Nobody is gonna judge you or look down at you just because you go into early pregnancy unit with some pains. Everyone experiences pregnancy different, and if it's your first time, then you don't really know what to expect, and each pregnancy is different anyway. Like this time round, I feel great, but the first 2 pregnancies were rubbish. I felt awful. So if you have any pains or you're not feeling right, just go and get yourself checked out. They'd much prefer you to go in and get checked out than to stay at home and just worry. If for anything, it's for your own peace of mind. But I think I've babbled on enough about 12 weeks. I also babbled on about a few other things maybe a bit further, but the next video that I'm going to do is going to be 16 weeks, so look out for that, and I'll see you next time. Remember, if you like the video, like, subscribe, comment and share, and I reply to all messages and stuff, so if you want to send a message, then I'll happily have a read of it. I read all the comments anyway, and I read everything that's shared. So thank you for that, guys. I'll see you for the 16-week update, and I'll show you my bump now. I'm now 17 weeks, so it'll be exciting. So I'll see you next time, and good luck.